December 2014, Kenya began the construction of standard gauge railway from Mombasa to Nairobi, covering a total distance of 480 kilometers at a total cost of $3.8 billion. A Chinese company, China Road and Bridge Corporation (CRBC), was awarded the primary contract for the enormous construction project that will revolutionize the Kenyan economy for years to come. I am Dennis the National. If you like this type of economic development videos and documentaries, please like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Now, before I tell you all about the construction of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha through Kisumu City to Malaba in Uganda border, let me first give you quick details about the construction of the standard gauge railway from Mombasa to Nairobi and finally Naivasha, specifically in Suswa, which is in the middle of literally nowhere. The Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway connects Mombasa, the largest port in East Africa, and Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya. One of the biggest infrastructure projects ever carried out in Kenya, the Standard Gauge Railway line supports passenger and cargo transportation. The 480-kilometer line shortens passenger travel time from Mombasa to Nairobi from more than 10 hours to a little more than 4 hours. Freight trains complete the journey in less than 8 hours. In the second phase, an extension from Nairobi to Naivasha was built at a cost of $1.5 billion and was opened in October 2019. The Mombasa-Nairobi phase of the project cost $3.8 billion, with China Exim Bank contributing around 90% of the financing, while the remaining 10% was provided by the Kenyan government. The SGR project is proposed to connect Mombasa to Malaba on the border with Uganda and continue onward to Kampala, Uganda's capital city. It will further run to Kigali in Rwanda with a branch line to Juba in South Sudan. The Standard Gauge project was conceived as a flagship project under the Kenya Vision 2030 development agenda. It was meant to simplify transport operations across the borders and reduce travel costs, in addition to benefiting the economies of Kenya and the neighboring countries like Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC. The governments of Kenya and Uganda signed a memorandum of understanding in October 2009 to construct the railway line from Mombasa to Kampala, and a tripartite agreement was signed by the governments of Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda in August 2013 to fast-track the development of the railway to the respective capital cities. Kenya Railways Corporation was responsible for the construction of the 1,300 kilometers long track inside Kenya from Mombasa to Malaba via Nairobi. The single-track standard gauge railway between Mombasa and Nairobi has a route length of around 480 kilometers and a total length of 609 kilometers. It runs through the counties of Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Makueni, Kajiado, Machakos, and Nairobi. The Class 1 line runs parallel to the existing meter gauge railway and the Mombasa-Nairobi Road highway for the most part. It deviates at certain points to attain the desired gradient and curvature. The construction of the line involved long viaducts, deep cuttings, and high embankments to ensure safe operations across the steep incline and rugged terrain of the Meritini to Mazeras section. With 120 kilometers of the line transversing through Kenya's Tsavo National Park, 14 wildlife channels were also built. Terminal passenger stations are located at Mombasa and Nairobi, while intermediate stations are located at Mariakani, Voi, Mtito Andei, Sultan Hamoud, Athi River, Emali, Miasenyi, and Kibwezi. The railway line is designed to carry 22 million tons a year of cargo, or a projected 40% of Mombasa port throughput by 2035. The freight terminals will be located at the Mombasa port and the inland container depots at Embakasi and Naivasha. Diesel rail cars currently run on the Mombasa-Nairobi standard gauge railway line, while plans of electrification are in pipeline. Multiple unit passenger trains having a capacity of 960 passengers operate at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour on the line. Freight trains with a capacity of 216 TEUs and travel at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour on the Mombasa-Nairobi line. A typical freight train on the line comprises 54 double-stack flat wagons and measures 880 meters long. China supplied initial rolling stock to Kenya comprising 56 diesel locomotives, 1,620 wagons and 40 coaches. By November 2018, the passenger train service called Madaraka Express transported more than 2 million passengers. Enough of the information about the SGR construction from Mombasa to Nairobi and Naivasha. Now let's talk about the extension of the SGR from Naivasha through Kisumu to Malaba on the border of Uganda. Kenya and Uganda have signed a joint communication on the financing and development of the Naivasha-Kisumu-Malaba standard gauge railway and the Malaba-Kampala SGR in their respective countries. The countries signed the agreement represented by Kenyan Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen and his Ugandan counterpart Edward Katumba Wamala. The ministries also assured that the two governments are in the process of mobilizing funds for the constructions and also agreed that the development of the railway will be undertaken as a regional project under the Northern Corridor Integrated Projects Initiative. Finally, the two countries assured that they remain committed to the construction of the connecting sections of Naivasha, Kisumu, Malaba, and Malaba Kampala SGR concurrently. When the SGR will reach Kisumu City, in my personal opinion, it will change the city economically and in terms of development in a way that has never been seen before. Remember, Kisumu City currently has a working port that actually serves ships from Kenya to Uganda via the Kisumu port and the Ugandan ports, and this has improved business and economic outlook of the Lake Victoria region. And once this SGR reaches Kisumu, it will be also very easy for tourists to actually visit the western parts of Kenya and Uganda, and it will also be easy for Kenyans to travel from Nairobi to the upcountry parts of western Kenya, which mostly they always use matatu and buses, which most of the times actually end up having accidents and killing people on the way. So it's going to bring a safe way of traveling from Nairobi to Kisumu. It will be cheaper because currently traveling from Nairobi to Mombasa on an economy class costs 1,000 only, but by bus it used to cost up to 2,000 and something, or 2,500, even 4,000 depending on the bus you had to choose. But traveling right now from Nairobi to Mombasa is 1,000 on economy class, which means it's very cheap and affordable for many people. It's very comfortable. By bus, it can take you up to 6 or 8 hours, but by the SGR, you take only 4 hours. And if you are one for comfortability, you may use the first class from Nairobi to Mombasa, which actually costs 3,000 Kenyan shillings only. You sit comfortably, you get served food, you can buy some drinks on board. So it's an amazing experience, and still it takes only 4 hours in a place that would have otherwise taken 8 hours or more to travel by bus. And traveling by SGR is very safe. So for most people who travel from Nairobi to Kisumu, if they were to use SGR, I think the price would have remained, or is likely to remain, 1,000 Kenyan shillings on an economy class. Because right now there is the old meter gauge railway that still serves Nairobi to Kisumu. It's very old, it takes a lot of time, and it's very cheap, yes, 600, but it takes a lot of time. That is the problem. Now, with the SGR, it will solve this problem because I am sure it will take less than 4 hours, because Nairobi to Kisumu is a little bit closer compared to Nairobi to Mombasa. So it may take like 3 hours for you to travel from Nairobi to Kisumu. You are assured of safety, it's comfortable, and you can get there while you are not tired and stuff like that, as opposed to using a vehicle because you sit for a very long time. So if this is done, and construction of the SGR finally reaches Kisumu City, I can assure you that Kisumu City will be one of the best cities in Kenya in terms of economy, tourism, and everything else that comes with the SGR, like comfortability, efficiency, reliability. It brings a lot of advantages to the city. My only wish to the Kenyan government is that this SGR has to be constructed to many other places like Lodwar, Mandera, Isiolo. It's a good idea because most of these places are underdeveloped because they are too far away to travel and the road sometimes is not always that reliable. This makes them like lag behind in terms of development, and the people suffer because they don't have development in their regions, and most of the times it's because they are just far away and there's no reliable means of transportation. If SGR can go to these places, tourism can improve, development can improve, and more people can gain employment in their respective counties and cities and towns, instead of everyone just migrating to Nairobi City, because Nairobi City right now is becoming extremely congested. Traffic jam, noise, pollution, environmental pollution, waste everywhere, crime has gone up. So it's time we build other parts of Kenya rather than just everyone coming to Nairobi. Otherwise, thank you for watching this amazing documentary. Like I said, please like and subscribe. I always make more documentary about development and infrastructure and stuff like that. And thank you for watching this farm. God bless you.